Welcome back to Project 613. Today we are going to learn 2 Rabbinic Mitzvot. And that means mitzvot that are not in the count of the 613 biblical mitzvot, but rather those that were given to us by the rabbis and the sages of the later generations. And they are, number 1, the mitzvah to light the Hanukkah candles on the holiday of Hanukkah, and number 2, the mitzvah to recite the Halal on Hanukkah as well as on the other Jewish holidays. So the history of Hanukkah, Maimonides tells us that it was during the Second Temple era when the Syrian Greeks ruled over the land of Israel, and they issued many harsh decrees against Jewish religion and practice. They didn't allow the Jews to study Torah and to perform mitzvahs. They stole property from the Jews. They abused their daughters. They entered the sanctuary and defiled it, and it was a very difficult time for the Jews of the land of Israel at the time. Until God in His great mercy had compassion on His people, and He delivered the mighty into the hands of the weak and the many into the hands of the few, with the victory of the small Hashmonai army, who were victorious over their oppressors. The Hashmonaim, the Maccabees, restored and brought back Jewish sovereignty to the land of Israel with their own kingdom, which lasted for more than 200 years until the destruction of the Second Temple. Now, the victory of the Maccabees took place on the 25th day of the month of Kislev, and following that great miracle, a second great miracle occurred. And that was that once they entered into the Holy Temple, they wanted to rekindle the Menorah, but they could only find enough oil that would last them for 1 day. To produce new olive oil that could be used in the temple's Menorah would take 8 days. And a great miracle took place that the 1 jar of oil lasted for the full 8 days. The following year, the sages of the time instructed that this day be remembered, and we should celebrate the holiday of Hanukkah each and every year in order to remember and give thanks to Hashem for these great miracles. And therefore, they gave us a special mitzvah, how to observe Hanukkah, by lighting the menorah, by kindling the menorah, which we light for 8 days in order to remember the miracle of the 8 days that the oil lasted. On the first night of Hanukkah, we light 1 candle, and on the second night 2, until on the last night, we light all 8. The second mitzvah that we are going to discuss is the mitzvah of reciting Halal. Halal is a prayer of thanksgiving to Hashem, which is to be recited when we remember special occasions, when Hashem delivered us from our enemies. So we recite the Halal each day of Hanukkah, and we also recite the Halal as instructed by our sages each and every one of the Jewish holidays around the year. So on Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, we also recite the Halal. On Rosh Chodesh, we recite a part of the Halal. It's also known as half Halal because we omit certain sections of it. And this is because the recitation of Halal on Rosh Chodesh is not really a rabbinic mitzvah as such, but rather is only a custom, only a minhag, and therefore only half of Halal is recited. In today's portion of Sefer Hamitzvot, we also begin learning the laws of Jewish marriage, which we will elaborate on tomorrow and in the coming days. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.